They said that.
Hello, guys and girls, and welcome to episode 99 of the F Reality podcast. This weekly VR, AR, and MR talk show, live streamed every Saturday on YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitch. You can also catch the show live in VR and chat with other VR enthusiasts in Screen TV. You can tune into the show live at 7 p.m. in Europe, 6 p.m. in the UK, and 12 midday in Central US. You can also get the audio version, which is available on iTunes, SoundCloud, Anchor, and now it's available on Spotify. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback during the show, please put them in the chat. We'll try and answer as many questions as we can. It's time for me to introduce you to the team. First up this week, when you see him rolling, don't be hating. It's the Metaverse Explorer and my blonde brother from another mother. It's, of course, Nathie. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. And I hope you enjoyed our karaoke version of the intro again. We sometimes just randomly...
I don't know why that happens. Like, sometimes it just doesn't pick up on the... I hear it here,
Did you all sing? I heard them all sing together, you know? Oh, we don't have any lyrics yet. Maybe we should add those.
Yeah.
Welcome to the F Reality show. We're going to talk about the latest VR news.
Yeah, there you have it.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are the lyrics.
But yeah, welcome everyone to the show. This is a typical show for us where things always are on fire at the beginning, but the flames side as we get longer into the show. So I hope you enjoy this one. And for those of you out there watching this in big screen TV, big up to you guys watching this in VR. That's so cool. So,
yes.
How are you then, Nathie? You all right?
Yeah, no, I'm doing good, although the weather is killing.
Yes.
That's an understatement, actually.
Yes.
But I actually tried to play a lot in VR this week, but I just couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. For me, the weather, if it's really hot, kills my excitement for virtual reality a little bit. I'm going to be honest here. It's so hard. Maybe you re-explore some seated experiences in the end that you usually don't really go to. But ones that are active, no, that's a no-go for me.
Yeah, I remember, like, last year, I remember recording a mixed reality Beat Saber video in this heat, and it almost killed me. It almost actually killed me. So, yeah, be careful in the heat, but we'll talk more about that later on. Let me introduce you to the next guy. This guy is never ripping.
Yeah. I'm all right. I've been it's been a little bit of a hectic day for me. Like I've had some issues going on around the house, so like everything is still a little bit like trying to like get everything together. But I'm working towards getting everything sorted. So hopefully that will be in order really soon. Yeah.
Good to hear it. You've had a bit of a nightmare with a gas leak in your flat complex today.
So I haven't been able to set up everything as I wanted to. So it's still a little bit like, last minute work. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good to hear that you're all right now anyway, dude. Glad that we could actually pull the show off, because we were worried at one point that we'd have to cancel it. And that would be the first time we've ever cancelled a show.
And then on episode 99, right?
I know. We'll cancel it on episode 100 at least. So anyway, next up, our guest this week. This guy is always keeping it fresh, providing in-depth VR and tech reviews. It's my Italian friend filling in for Zim this week. It's, of course, Thierry Allwood. Welcome to the show, man.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Always a pleasure to talk about VR with you guys. It's amazing.
Great
show, and it's amazing to be here. Yeah.
Awesome. Last but by no means least, myself, the host of the show, Mike from Virtual Reality Oasis. We've got a busy show for you today. Some of the highlights include that we're going to be talking about our thoughts on Wolfenstein Cyberpilot, which released this week, because I think most of us played it. Half-Life is coming to Oculus Quest via SideQuest, so that's going to be pretty interesting. Nathie's going to give you the lowdown on some releases to look forward to next week, and then we're going to be talking about The Void expanding their location-based VR experiences and why that's important for the VR industry. But of course, let's start the show off with finding out what everyone's been playing this week and their highlight of the week. And of course, feel free to join us in the chat as well. And if you're in big screen TV, discuss what you played this week with your fellow VR enthusiasts. I'm sure they'd be interested to know as well. But of course, let's pass it over to Nathie first to find out what you've been up to, dude.
Yeah, so I played, of course, the Wolfenstein VR experience, and I also got to try the Moondust demo, for the Valve Index controllers. Funny enough, I couldn't really find it. It's hard to play, because if you search for it on Steam, apparently you can't find it. So you have to kind of use Google and then do some smart tricks, and then bam, you got it. Because when I played it and I uploaded it to my channel, people were like, "Yeah, I can't find it. What is this, and where is this?" Well, it's still one of the coolest demos to check out. One of the only ones, by the way, which are to try with your Valve Index controllers. And the Moondust tech demos are basically like the lab, but then for the Valve Index controller. So you arrive at this moon base, and there's a map in front of you, and you can go to different locations and play around with your controllers. You can, for example, go to a throwing range where you can throw grenades. You can squeeze things. It's super satisfying to squeeze things with your controllers. It never gets old. And then you can also shoot with this portal gun, because this Moondust demo is set in the Portal universe. It's really cool. If you like Portal, then this is a must try. Then you can also go and launch a rocket to space. This is in a different environment. And you can shoot it to planet Earth. You have to collect moon rocks, squeeze them, destroy them, put them in a machine, and then power up this. It's basically all those are just to show what the controllers are capable of, what the potential is in that case. And then my favorite is where you can drive around with these little RC cars, and you have different tracks that you can do. And there's a leaderboard, and it's funny. Not many people played this demo, so the leaderboard isn't super big. So if you really want to compete now, then this is your moment. It's super easy. Even if you're a noob, you get on like place 20 or something. But that is great, because you grab that remote, and since you have the thumbstick, it's so nice to be able to drive around with this RC car from a distance and do these sick tricks and stuff like that. And then the last one, because these are all just different demos within one big game, you can build your own space station. So you grab all these little parts, and then you put them together, and then you made your space station. It's all free, by the way. It's just a tech demo, but it's fun to spend some time in. But as I said, I wish there was some more to play with the Valve Index controllers. Some native stuff, if you know what I mean.
It seems weird that, I know that they've got the Hand Lab, Aperture Hand Lab experience by Cloudhead Games, but it seems strange because the Valve Index is lacking so much content that they just don't have this like freely, easy to find on the store, so people can go and check this out. Like you say, it's kind of hidden, right?
Yeah. No, true. No, but this one was Knuckles, because it's called the Moondust Knuckles tech demo. But funny enough, it works fine with the consumer ones too. So they could have just changed the name and just on Steam. Yeah. Because like first I said like, Aperture Hand Labs, that's like the main demo to try, but I think Moondust is actually the one that should be the main demo, because it shows all the aspects of, hey, I can throw with stuff, I can do this, I can do that, but it's so hidden, and it's also not really getting tracked on Steam, because I was checking my profile if I had any hours on it, but it's also not showing up on your Steam page. So if your friends are like, hey, what is this person playing, they will never see you ever tried this Moondust demo. So hopefully they will,
Yeah, because this demo was made by Zubalu, right? The same people that made Vertigo 2, and that's why that game the demo that we played ended up being so great, is because they had so much experience building this Moondust demo, right?
Yeah, no, that's true. So hopefully we will see it publicly somewhere.
Awesome. We'll be talking about Wolfenstein shortly as well, hopefully. So it'll be interesting to get your insights on that. But let's pass it over to Rowdy then to see what you've been playing this week and what you've enjoyed.
For me this week, I've dove into Battlewake for the first time during the weekend, last weekend. Checked it out, and I wasn't a fan. Like, I think I side a little bit with Zim on this as well. That I feel like the game is lacking something that makes it worthwhile going back into. It looks visually very nice. It looks very polished. It plays polished as well. You know, you don't have any frame drops. It could be that everything is like running very smoothly, but I found the gameplay itself lacking. I don't know, maybe I expected more. I expected it more to be like a pirate game and less of a, I don't know, it's just too arcadey for me. And I know that Survios makes arcadey titles, but I was hoping it would be, I don't know, like more my kind of thing.
Did you play it online, or was it like a single player?
No, I played only the online version together with a couple of people. They all said the same thing as me, that after like 4 rounds, it just didn't work for me.
Yeah,
it's also too repetitious for you.
Yeah, definitely too repetitious.
Yeah.
I feel like many people, they compare the game to Sea of Thieves, but it's not really, because like there's no cooperation. It's just really shooting while you are on a boat. That's it, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of lacks the depth of what Sea of Thieves can provide, whereas like Rowdy said, it's more of an arcade experience, it seems.
Yeah. Also, like the way that the ship, you need to steer it, like you only need to really use like the 2 things on the sides, and the wheel does something too. But it took me quite a while for me to figure out how that actually worked. Maybe it's me.
Yeah. I do like the idea of dropping an anchor to do like a handbrake turn in a battleship. Like that sounds kind of cool. But I haven't played it yet because it was in like a beta period, right? That's why you got to try it. And I think it's still got a little while till it releases, so they can still got time to polish it up. But yeah, it's interesting to see that you're kind of echoing what Zim said on the previous episode of the show. Yeah. So let's find out what Tyriel's been up to. What have you been up to, dude? You've been playing any fun stuff this week?
I actually just came back from Mexico. That I was in vacation, so I didn't play that much there. Yesterday, I had finally the opportunity to put a VR headset on. By the way, Mexico is amazing. And I started with Republic VR. Republic VR.
Republic,
I don't know. Maybe Nathan knows how to say it. But that game. But then crashed after like 30 minutes. So I was like, okay, I need to change the game. I went on my PC. I started to play Defector again, because I'm actually a little addicted to the game, even if I know that you guys didn't like it that much from the last episode of the podcast. I'm kind of addicted to all the cheats that you can unlock, because it reminds me a lot of 007 GoldenEye on the Nintendo 64. So I won all of them, and so yesterday I was playing again the second mission, and I remember I had to do 10 kills with the golden gun. That actually is like also probably an Easter egg to the golden gun in like in 007 series. But I pressed the wrong button. The magazine just went down on the floor. It disappeared, and so I like, okay, I play like this far for nothing. So I closed the game, and that was like my playthrough of the day more than on the week. But
so with Defector, have you finished the game completely?
I didn't finish yet because I'm really like going through the missions until are 100%.
Okay, that's kind of cool. I get that. I think it was really the last 2 missions that let it down for me. So I'd be interested to know what you think when you eventually play them. But I know what you mean about like the GoldenEye cheats. And did Perfect Dark also had similar cheats to that, or am I thinking of a different game?
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember Perfect Dark.
And Perfect Dark Zero, right?
Yeah.
It's funny that for me, when I like the first mission, you're in the plane and you have to fight the guard. I hit him so hard that his head was stuck in the floor, and when I got down, I saw his arms and head like spacing around. Because also people in the chat also played stuff.
Sure.
We Paolo, who played he played Raccoon Lagoon, and we have Paradise DK. He revisited some gems this week. He played Valkyrie, Subnautica, and the Climb, Robo Recall. Where's the Climb on Quest? I still wonder. Maybe we should ask. Maybe we should just email Crytek and see what like they could say something official, right? Maybe never like no one tried and asked.
Yeah,
maybe it would be the first ones. Who knows? So that's something PD played. And then we have Johnny who played T for God on the lawn. And then last but not least, I would like to give Rowdy a tip. Maybe you should turn us down a little bit audio-wise.
Yeah, I've already done that, but I don't know why it's causing that. It's just the audio that I hear from Zoom. I don't know. I'm just sending that audio.
Okay. Well, anyways, that's what people played. Cool. Mike?
So yeah, this week I played a few different things. I played Wolfenstein, I played Tetris Effect, but the game I want to highlight is Raccoon Lagoon, which someone also played in the chat this week. This game released on Oculus Rift and Quest, and it's developed by Hidden Path Entertainment, the same developers behind Brass Tactics. I don't know if you guys remember that one.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have been comparing this game, Raccoon Lagoon, to like Stardew Valley or like Animal in VR. That's kind of what people are sort of calling it. But it's a really beautiful game. It like kind of takes place on this bright and colorful island. There's like little adorable creatures milling around that have been shipwrecked there, and basically you kind of have to team up with them and work together with them to like kind of gather supplies that are dotted around the island and help build them little houses and stuff. It's super cute, and I kind of just started playing it, not really knowing anything about it, and then like next thing you know, a couple of hours later, my Quest is dying because I've been playing it for so long. I was just kind of really getting into the game. But it's just so relaxing. And actually, it's kind of got this like addictive gameplay loop to it because there's no real rush to do anything. You can explore the different parts of the island at your leisure, gather resources. You can even go fishing or just go and chop down some trees and gather some wood or do farming some crops. And then you can complete these little quests all in your own time, so you can do it whenever you want to. So for example, like just to give you an idea of the gameplay loop, so say a creature wants a special type of fish that you can only find in a certain little pond on a part of the island. You then have to go and construct like a fishing rod by gathering some wood and some twine, and another little creature can build that for you. So it's kind of got these kind of like
wait. And then you can enter a museum with an owl that is telling how much beautiful fish you have.
There is a little museum, actually. It's in the town hall.
No way.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing.
Yeah, so there is a town hall where you put the items that you found, and there's some kind of like quite hard to find ones in there. And if you do find those items, you unlock special cosmetic items, because this game is also multiplayer. So you can invite a single friend or just a random person into your island, and they can help you gather supplies, and you can actually work together to complete your little quests. So yeah, it's super fun. I actually reached out to one of the developers this week and sort of asked them, like, how long is this game? Because I could see it being like a complete time sink. And he said that when the developers are speedrunning the game, they put around 50 hours just speedrunning it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the game is like endless, basically.
Oh.
Yeah. But of course, it won't be the type of game for everyone. But I think
it's cross-platform?
I think so, yeah. So if you're playing on Quest, you should be able to invite someone with a Rift, vice versa. And I believe it is cross-buy as well. So if you've bought it on Rift or Quest, you get it on the other headset. One thing I do miss, or I really want, is that I want cloud saves so I can play it at home on my Rift. And then when I take the headset on the go, I can play and carry on where I left off on the Quest. But of course, that feature doesn't exist yet.
But Oculus in general isn't cloud saving, as far as I know, because I once deleted my, Marvel Powers United game, and everything was gone. But I think every game, like, they should really go for cloud saving, because right now they don't back you at all. So if something happens or something happens to them, and there's nothing.
I lost all my saves. Like many times, actually. Every time, like, I change computer, I use laptop and desktop PC, and every time, like, I have to play the same thing in different, like, it just nothing translates.
Yeah, exactly. And it also is the same scenario if your Quest is damaged or you have to replace it. Same right? And when Zim had his go damaged with the sunlight, when he got replacement, of course, he lost all his progress in his game. So yeah, it is a shame. I think cloud saves are definitely a must sort of needed feature that should be on the roadmap for Oculus. And I'm pretty sure I remember John Carmack saying it would come eventually, but of course we just need to wait.
When did he say that? 84 years ago?
I don't know. Maybe we'll hear more soon. Maybe at Oculus Connect, maybe they'll give us these sort of updates. They normally save these sort of big announcements for then.
I'm gonna come on stage. I'm like, it's been 84 years. No decent friend system. No cloud saving. I'm still waiting.
No chat.
No chat.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I played. That is a Raccoon Lagoon. Definitely go and check it out if you're into that sort of very slow-paced, relaxing type grinding, collecting sort of game, a bit like Animal Crossing in VR. It's on Quest and Rift. Yeah. But let's quickly talk about Cyberpilot before I get into quick news, because I do want to talk about it because I think it's kind of important.
You really want to go there?
Yeah, because it was a big game. It's a big AAA game from a big AAA, one of the games that we were excited to play this week, but I think a lot of us left disappointed. Who actually played it out of us a lot? I think it might have been. Oh, you played it as well, Tariel?
Not this week. I played it like
previously.
Previously events.
Okay. Yeah. Did you complete it, Nathie?
Yes.
Okay, so me and you completed the game.
How long did it take you to complete? First of all,
it took me just under 2 hours.
It took me 1.5 hours.
Yeah. And I say 2 hours because my PC basically crashed halfway through the first level because it overheated. So and I've got a water-cooled PC as well. That gives you an idea of how hot it got in this loft space.
Wow.
So I had to take all the panels off my PC and get a fan just for it to work, so I could play the game. But yeah, it took me just under 2 hours. Overall, I thought it was okay.
It worked. No facts. It worked. It was a solid title in that sense.
Yeah, I didn't experience any bugs.
No.
I thought graphically it looked great. I was playing in ultra settings. I didn't have any of the blurry draw distance or something that some people were complaining about.
Same here, but you have to change that in the settings. It's like, let's say if you booted up the game for the first time, it had these funky low settings.
Yeah, I think it was Voodoo actually that I think pointed us in the right direction. So give credit to him. Yeah. But it was like auto resolution in the settings. So if you do play it, turn off auto resolution, and you should get rid of that sort of blurriness. But yeah, I thought it looked great. I thought stomping through the little Paris in the 80s was really cool looking. I thought the voice acting was really cool as well. I like the female voice actors that were feeding you sort of your mission objectives. And I thought the soundtrack was also pretty cool as well, because it was kind of retro 80s cyber wave sort of retro wave music. As
a big fan of Wolfenstein, as a franchise, as a series, it was great to be able to be in this environment, in this. That was universe. Awesome. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But I think I think the game. So let's talk about the gameplay, because it does mix it up with quite a few different things. You've got the core sort of shooting and moving around Paris. You then got hacking into the robots themselves before you can take them out on a mission. Yeah. And then you've got some kind of intel-y bits and bits where you're sort of little puzzle bits basically, where you're moving between floors. Yeah. And I thought the actual shooting part was probably the weakest game. I don't know if you felt the same way.
Oh, really?
Okay, so in this game, you control 3 different things. You have the Panzerhund,
yes,
this dog. Then you have a drone,
yes,
and then you have the Citadel, that is like a ginormous robot with these big turrets and stuff like that. So weakest part for me, I do agree with you on that. Although I thought the Panzerhund was the best part of the game.
Okay.
Compared to the other things you could control. I thought the drone was boring and slow, and it didn't feel like Wolfenstein at all. The Citadel was okay, but what stunned me the most with this was that you're sitting in a cockpit because you're a cyber pilot, so you hack into the Panzerhund, the drone, etc. Mm-hmm. You had this little screen on the left that was giving you tips, and it was always randomly popping up. There was this dialogue thing going on, and every time it's oh, hey there, and then it was gone super super random, super duper random. That annoyed me. And what annoyed me as well was just the dialogue in general. It took all very long. I had to wait very long. And I can also tell you, I got sick of this game. Maybe it's also because of the weather, though. I mean, that's a mix. But the way you control the drone in this title is so weird. It's so freaking weird that after a while I was like, I gotta just stop because this makes me a little dizzy.
This is super interesting because I think out of all of us, I think generally speaking, I'm the most set motion sickness.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any problems with this game drone, and I actually thought the drone was my favorite machine, and I thought the Panzerhund was the worst.
Okay,
so it's kind of interesting.
heck?
We have opposite opinions on this.
As I said, the weather was kicking in that sense. And let's say if you are a big fan of Wolfenstein and you have to play this game, even though everyone kind of says it sucks, but you still want to play it, then I would recommend you to use like thumbstick controls, because you can control all these creatures with your hand, and then when you move your hand, it goes to that direction, where you point your controller. But you can also go for thick. So then you just turn your thumbstick and then go that way. It's easier to aim, and you don't get that motion.
Right.
But it's a sick experience, right? You're sitting in a cockpit. Usually you don't get sick when you're sitting in a cockpit.
I have a question for you guys. Did you find it different from, probably the question is more for Nate because he tried it before, also at E3, I remember. Did you find it different from that version that we tried back then?
It was different. It was. It's still the Panzerhund level, but they got rid of the flying drones, and they changed the level design.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was slightly different from the Gamescom.
Drones.
Yeah, because I remember being great for graphics. That was amazing because you were actually in the Wolfenstein world, and everything is look exactly the same. I feel like Bethesda is doing very well. Also with Prey, the graphics, in the room scale experience was amazing because it was exactly the one that you had also on the Flame.
Yeah.
And they did pretty much the same on this one, but I don't like the gameplay just lacking a lot. I wasn't entertained at all. It was after a minute I was like, what the heck is this?
I have a feeling this one has been finished a long time ago as well. There were a few things that made me laugh and also wonder why the heck did it get released? Why did it never, because I think the start was pretty good, but it just never got finished in a proper way. Because the moment I started playing it, I was looking at my own shadow, and I saw my full body, because you have a full body in this game. You're sitting in this cockpit and you look down, and it's great. But then I looked at my shadow, and I had no head. There was no head. You saw me dancing around, but there was no head. I'm like, what the heck happened over here? That was the first time where I was like, what is going on in this title? And then at the end, because I can tell you straight away, if you finish it, it's not satisfying in any way. I waited out the credits. I was like, okay, what is going to happen now? Nothing. They have nothing. It just stops, and you can't even properly go back. It's super weird. It's we don't have any more budget, so let's just finish it here. But the thing was that the level at the end, they just throw in all the enemies at the same time, and it's super busy, blah, blah, blah. It's not really a spoiler. But what happened was they spawn in these enemies that charge at you, but they were on the other side of the map, and there was water in between, but they were just charging against the wall because they couldn't go anywhere. So I'm like, you made all these enemies, okay? But you don't even know where to even spawn them, and you don't even know from where they should attack. Yeah, they were attacking from the other side of the bridge, and every time they were against this fence. I was like, yeah, you're not gonna get there because you can't do anything. So they also kind of misused. I just feel like there wasn't enough budget. And
I mean, I haven't played the game. I haven't played the game myself, but I have seen on Steam that the reviews have been quite negative. I think the overall score now is a negative as well, which is not a great thing. for such a big title.
But I don't think Wolfenstein Youngblood is particularly doing well either.
No.
I wonder if they did just hold back the release of Cyberpilot to release it at the same time as Youngblood and to market them both at the same time, I guess. But it's funny, you mentioned about being motion sick, Nathie, because I watched some of Cass and Chari's stream as well, and Cass actually had to stop playing the game at the end of the Panzerhund level because she felt motion sick as well. So you're definitely not on your own there. But it's kind of interesting that I didn't for some reason.
But I like that. That just points towards a design flaw, locomotion wise. Because I also just don't get motion sick out of nowhere. You need to know that Panzerhund was fine. Then I finished the drone level, but then I had to control all the things at the same time, and then I was like, I'm kind of done with this. I just don't feel so good anymore. But again, as I said, like, being in all these environments is great. And the funny part is at the end, and I'm just gonna tell you straight away, let's say if you do want to play it, then turn it off, but I don't think many people will. But at the end, you can actually shoot with guns.
Yeah,
because they're like Nazis coming from everywhere, and you gotta defend yourself. But it's kind of like teasing you in a way where it's like, well, this is kind of what you wanted, but this is not what we're gonna do. It's unlikely we will see a Wolfenstein VR experience first person anytime soon, because that's an ambitious project. But this wasn't it, This was a little bit of Wolfenstein, but it was also not Wolfenstein.
I feel like the best way to experience Wolfenstein, if you want, is like to install the mod, like the one freeware version that it was like a while ago, like to play the original one. That for me, that was amazing. That was an amazing experience because like you are in this super pixelated with the little dogs coming, the 3D is all off. But it was amazing.
I do think we're gonna see a price drop very soon on this one, because Bethesda also with Fallout 76, they also dropped it after a few weeks. True. I think the same will happen with this one. But it's a shame. It's a shame. But the thing is, as I said, it wasn't a bad game in a way where it didn't work properly. It's okay. The locomotion could have been better, but I had no bugs in any way. It didn't crash on me. It didn't. It was a solid title. It ran smooth for me, and I want Bethesda to stay in this VR arena because they did a good job with porting the games. Doom was okay. And the Prey experience, I don't think many people have been talking about that one at all. It was an escape room title, but in the end, I do want Bethesda to that's the thing. I didn't want this to be bad because for Bethesda, it's a strike as well, where it's like, VR, maybe we should reconsider, and I don't want them to reconsider. It's the same with Ubisoft with Space Junkies. Yes, it's not doing that well, but please, Ubisoft, don't think that that's the end of VR. You know what I mean? So it's kind of tricky with this stuff.
I have a question for you guys, actually. Is we see, like with Bethesda, it's a perfect example. We see two ways to do VR. The VR where you adapt a 2D game, and like it was Fallout VR and it was Skyrim VR. And the one where you actually make a new game from scratch, stretches, and there's actually like a proper VR experience where you like every object is like actually there and things like that. Now I see, and myself too, I enjoy much more the porting of real games because you have the plot, you have the storyline, you have a gameplay that is like, that it works, but sometimes you're something lacking. To slash the sword is not like a sword or gargantula, or I always call like that, but it's like just slashing and that's it. And on the other part, you have an experience that is instead 2 hours like this one, and it doesn't like give you like enough. Like, what do you see like the best way the industry should go through? Because I see it being like just port the 2D games, and I'm fine for now. And I feel like it's going to bring more people to VR. But what's your idea, guys?
I think the interesting thing is like Bethesda did pretty well with like Doom VFR. It was it was built from the ground up for VR, but it was you're in the boots of the Doom guy. Do you know what I mean? You're sort of shoving the shotgun into the demons' faces, which is great. So they could have done something along that line in the Wolfenstein universe, and I think people would have been happy with that. Or even mixed that gameplay up with the Cyberpilot gameplay, so you kind of had a mix of everything, really sort of mix up the gameplay and stretch it out a bit more. I think that would have been fun. But I think the problem with this is that it's very by the numbers. It's very generic. You know, at no point do you really feel like you're in any danger. And I think that's a big problem.
But they also, like with this, they played on safe. You know, because if they did do the first person stuff, it would have been, you know, so much more work.
Since this was announced as well? It's been like how many years
it's
now?
As I said, it's quite old. I felt like this demo or this experience they had was quite old, and that it has been finished already a year or maybe even longer ago. Because at E3 they were also showing this, but last year E3.
But this is the funny thing. Like at E3, they were giving it, you know, all the sort of big talk. You know, we're the ones that basically reinvented modern day VR. We're the pioneers of VR, and you're like. They said this, showing like a duct tape, you know, headset together, which was clearly
I want them to reinvent it though. I really want to.
Yeah.
But with this, they invented.
No.
And to come back to Tariel's point, I think ported titles are great. I think it does, you know, promote VR. No Man's Sky is a ported title in the end. But it's not like with a lot of those, not the way you play VR. It's kind of, you know, it's kind of arcadey in that sense. So in the end, I do welcome a build from the ground up VR experiences more, because I don't want consumers to think that how you play Skyrim in VR is how you play every VR game, because that's exactly the other way around. So I do support it, but it's not VR, if you know what I mean.
For me personally, I think I'm a bit more on the opposite of the spectrum. I'm a far less big fan of ported titles to virtual reality, because I often have the feeling that they're not real VR. For me, I haven't played a ported game yet that I have the feeling of like, oh, you know, this was what I expected of it. If I play, for example, to give the example of Skyrim, or the example of Fallout, or the example of Subnautica, like they were all great games, fun to try in VR. But afterwards, I'd be like, yeah, I prefer playing this on a PC, just because the interaction is not up to the level that I kind of expect it to be. I want my hand-to-hand interaction to be almost one-to-one. I don't want to be pressing buttons to pick things up. I want to pick things up and like do. And so, I mean, I hope that No Man's Sky, because No Man's Sky has been touting a little bit, saying that they are going to use virtual reality really differently, that they're going to, you know, port it in a different kind of way. So I'm hoping that this is going to be the ported title that I've been waiting for. But for me, it's
the problem with ported games is usually there are too many button combinations as a pancake title, and it's hard to translate it into VR. Where with Skyrim, you could, like, I played it on my PlayStation VR. In the menu, you could go up, you could go down, you could go this and that, and it was like you could go real deep into the rabbit hole with the menu and the way you had to switch from a bow to. For me, the best ported experience I had so far was LA Noire.
Yeah, that's good.
Driving, shooting. Okay, maybe the running around was kind of weird, but overall, I thought like, wow, Rockstar really tried something new here.
Yeah, that's a good example, actually. So just to sort of give you our conclusion then on Wolfenstein Cyberpilot, I think we're all pretty much lukewarm on it. We thought it was okay. It's not bad. It's not good. It's just kind of one of those games that if you're really interested in playing it, wait for it to be on sale on Steam.
It will very soon, for sure. It's a shame, though. It's a shame. I wish it was better.
It is a shame. We're hopefully going to play Youngblood this week, and hopefully that will be a better game. But of course, that's a pancake game. So then let's quickly talk about the heat then before we get into the news. How have you guys been coping with the heat? Because it's been, like, for those of you out there, because I mentioned the heat at the beginning of my Wolfenstein video, and people were like, yeah, you know, you're complaining about the heat. I live in Australia and I live in America, and it's like way hotter all the time. What you need to understand about like the UK and Europeans is that no one has AC here. Like, no one has air conditioning. No one. Because for 99.9% yeah, we don't need it. But for days like yesterday, oh my God, I was melting. So how did you guys cope, or did you just avoid VR altogether?
For me, it's been mostly. I mean, I haven't during the week. It's always a bit difficult for me to be playing virtual reality because I'm working, and at work we do have AC, so it's actually fairly pleasant. It's actually for once it's nice to go into work, you know. But yeah, that's for me mostly during the week. It's not really that much of a problem. It's more like in the evenings that it like starts bothering me when I want to start doing some editing or like do like a quick recording. Normally it cools down, but I mean, I'm in a small little room and everything is plastered black, so I mean, it can heat up quite fast. But yeah, we actually broke a heat record in Belgium. We had the hottest day ever in Belgium, hitting over 40 degrees Celsius. So yeah, it's been warm.
Wow, what about you, Nathan? I saw you got your little foot spa out.
Yeah. David bought me a foot spa. He knew what was going to happen. Yeah.
So tell us what you do with this thing, because people might be interested to hear.
Well, the thing is, I didn't turn it on right now because it will make a lot of noise. But it massages your little hobbit feet, and it's like a jacuzzi for your feet, basically.
Yeah.
David picked this one. I don't know how he came up with the idea to go for this one.
A score of 1 out of 5. Nice. Do you recommend
I
it?
I do not do sponsored stuff.
F reality approved.
This is maybe
link in the description below.
Hey, if you're watching this company, if you want to sponsor us, you want to give us all this.
Next week,
this is awesome. This kind of helps. This kind of helps. Don't use this when you're doing a standing experience. It's dangerous. But when you're seated, just like last year, I used a bucket. There are videos you don't see it, but I'm like sitting in a bucket of water while doing a video, and I'm sitting in my underwear too. But yeah, you can't see that either.
It's someone in the chat is also mentioning that it's like the perfect way to play Subnautica, which I think is,
yeah, or Freediver or something.
Maybe you should do that. What that like Belle Delphine did, and maybe you should sell your foot spa water for money.
Here, if someone wants to buy this machine with my signature on there, I'm down for it. But yeah, I have been dealing with it, but I haven't really done much. If you go to my channel, I made one video this week. I just couldn't do it. I just got completely crazy. It's so hot here. As Rowdy said, we also hit the same record. It's just crazy. And the thing is, you need to know, like, if you're living, let's say, in California, you're kind of used to this weather, but for us, this is not like normal. We're still adapting.
We have a very humid climate, so all of the sweat just stays on your body for the entire. It doesn't evaporate, so you don't lose any heat as well. It's just gets sticky.
Yeah. So we still have to learn to deal with this weather. It's kind of new for us.
So what about you then, Tyrell? Because you're used to this sort of weather where you live in New York.
I mean, in New York, you need the AC. It's like no way to stay without. These days it's very hot. It's gonna get even hotter. So the AC is like needed, and like when I play VR, just AC on, blasting on my face, and I actually put a scarf on because because it's so cold, and then every time I finish, it's like my neck is like so I put a scarf on and I play VR with AC. It's like
so you put a scarf on to deal with the heat. That's what Tyrell does.
Exactly. Yeah, because at the end of the day, I still have Italian blood, so I'm not used to AC because I lived in Italy for pretty much the 75% of my life without AC because it's not normal to have AC in Europe. Also, the electricity costs a lot, so you don't want to deal with too many expenses on it. And usually the houses are bigger, so you need a lot of AC. Here is a small apartment. You put it on, it's freezing in an hour. So,
at least you're not living in the attic like Mike, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
in a loft, it's horrible. I was even thinking about getting one of those Vive and Chill things for the Index because you can plug it in to the USB port at the front. But I'm going to have to think of something else. I've got a temporary workspace for now, but I'll sort of cope for now. But let's move on to some quick news then. And first up this week, let's talk about the Oculus Quest. Because this week, Oculus CTO John Carmack tweeted that the Quest will be getting Oculus Go emulation by the end of the year. So let us know in the chat what Go games you'd want to play on your Quest, and maybe we can read some of those out at the end of this little sort of news section. But the tweets from John Carmack read, Go emulation is coming to Quest later this year by the way of a compatibility layer that makes Quest report as a Go and emulate the Go controller for old apps. We'll be working with developers to test against the emulator, but I hope some will be inspired enough to convert older apps to proper hybrid Go/Quest apps with explicit support. Not everything works, but many old apps do magically get sixed off headset and controller tracking, as well as higher resolution and frame rate. So it's fun to dig through some of the old favorites. I kind of think this is kind of interesting move from Oculus because they're denying some of these pretty cool games being officially released on the Quest by saying they're not up to standard, and yet have cut up a backdoor to previously released Go titles. Don't you think that's kind of strange?
Yeah,
It is. It is.
It is.
Yeah. I do welcome it, of course. I think it's a great idea to boost the Quest library because I think it's needed right now. And there are some good Go titles out there that are worth checking out.
Yeah.
Have you guys got any sort of games that you would like to see?
There's this one from CodeSync where you are a human and you are a robot. I don't know what the name is.
They suspect nothing?
Yeah, they suspect nothing.
Yeah.
That's a funny one.
Yeah, that is a fun one. What about you guys, Tyrell or Rowdy? You got any Go games that you really enjoyed that you might want to see on the Quest?
I have I don't remember the title right now, but it was you have this little orc that you're using with the sword, and
Yes.
I don't remember the title right now.
Yeah,
there were 3 versions of that game, one arcade, PvP, and the other 2 storylines. And I actually enjoyed that a lot. It's very similar to Lucky's Tale, but probably from the same devs. I'm not sure about it, but that was a very nice game. And I would like to see it on the Quest because it's something like Moss, where you actually sit down and you use your controllers like a controller, not like a touch sensor. Like the Oculus
Joy-Cons in a way.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that game is Hero Bound.
Hero Bound, yeah.
Yeah, that is one of the games that I was going to recommend also. Like you say, it's kind of a bit like a Zelda-type top-down action adventure game. It's actually made by Gunfire Games, same people that made the first...
Gunfire, yeah.
Dead and Buried, right?
Dead and Buried.
Dead and Buried, yeah.
There's another one, Eclipse. I don't know the complete name. Eclipse
Edge of Light.
Edge of Light, yes.
Yeah.
Also a good one.
Yeah, that was made by the same developers that did Covert, White Elk. But the other game that I would recommend on the Go that probably won't see its light of day on Quest, but if it's emulated, then you can play it, is Augmented Empire from CodeSync. And it's kind of like an XCOM style turn-based strategy game. So if you like that kind of slow-paced strategy sort of game, then you'll like that one as well. It's got a really good story, loads of great voice acting as well. So Hero Bound, They Suspect Nothing, Eclipse, Edge of Light, and Augmented Empire.
And
go on.
Oculus Roofs.
That would be super interesting. If they can emulate Oculus Rooms, that would be great. That is very badly needed.
It would be kind of sad if it's getting emulated because that means they don't want to put the effort in there to actually make something for Quest. But yes, I would be down for that because right now the only thing I can do is be lonely and sit in my own menu and not meet anyone at all.
Yeah. It's really good point.
Actually, if I can go back, also it's also an example of apps that they already worked, even if you don't have to adapt it. It's like if you think about Minecraft, it was on the Gear VR and never arrived on the Go. I have Minecraft on my Quest because I side loaded. Because for me, it's Minecraft is a weird game because flat, I don't like it at all. But when you play in VR, for me, it's completely different. And on the Quest, you have actually 6DOF in the way you can actually walk around, and it's already recognized. But it's not even on the Oculus Go for some reason, and it's not on the Quest. It would be amazing to see it there.
That is actually a ported game that I do enjoy. That's actually that I didn't even think of that one.
Yeah. It's so weird that Minecraft isn't on the Quest. We mentioned this, I think, on last week's episode as well, but super strange. Hopefully, we'll get confirmation that it is coming, maybe at Oculus Connect, and maybe we'll hear more about the sort of Go emulation there as well. If you're interested, Oculus Connect 6 takes place every year in San Jose. It's going to take place on the 25th and 26th of September this year. Hopefully, we'll be there, so we'll be able to give you the news. Hopefully, we hear more about this then. But let's move on from the Quest then to the Valve Index, because it seems the long waiting times to get your hands on a full Valve Index bundle is now over. And if you order one today in the US, then it'll be shipped out immediately, and then you'll only have to wait like a week shipping. Because previously, customers who wanted this full Valve Index bundle with the headset, the controllers, and the base stations, if you weren't quick enough to pre-order, then you were told that you had to wait till September, I think, to receive your headset. But apparently, Valve have stated that the initial quantities that they had in stock were outpaced by the demand. So there's not the demand there for the hardware that they've got on the shelves right now. So they're just shipping them out straight away.
And those were also reservations. Like, you didn't pay straight away, right? You could also just wait it out and then...
Yeah, it is worth noting that is just for the bundle, though. Like, the individual components, if you want to buy the headset, the controllers, or the base stations separately, you still have to put your name on a reserve list. And it's the same in the UK and Europe with the full bundle as well. So it only seems that if you're in the US and you want a full bundle, you can get one straight away without waiting.
It's actually like a last update, like right now in this moment, because like an hour ago it wasn't, but you can also buy just the headset and controllers right now. It's not just the full bundle, but just headset and controllers too. And also just the base station are available with the
that's awesome.
4 to 8 business days shipping. So like they actually added that too. And probably like, I don't know you guys, but I bought both the versions, and when you buy just the headset and controller, even if it's in a bundle, you get 2 different boxes. It's not in one box, so it's kind of weird that they're not selling it like just the controllers or just the headset. I'm pretty sure it's going to arrive soon too. They probably want to maximize this there now.
Oh, Daryl's flexing here and just buys 2 Valve Indexes. You know, like it's nothing.
Because like I didn't know if I wanted the new base stations or not, and I didn't know if mine were working properly. But then like my controllers actually, they're broken, so I didn't need it and just sent it back.
And in terms of your controllers, you said they were broken. What was the issue with them?
Okay, so the one that I received in the second box, actually they weren't clicking in any direction.
Oh, wow.
But the one that I have, they click in any direction. On the left, they don't do like the click, like the sound click. But they actually recognize, and it goes down. It just doesn't click like properly, but it's like completely functional. So I'm totally fine with it. I don't hear the click anyway when I'm in VR, so I don't care that much.
But what did Valve bring out any statements regarding this already?
Only that
because in the end, I understand it clicks, but you pay a lot of money, so you just want it to work. You know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't want to do like advertising and stuff, but I made a video about it, like just to say to the people, if yours is like doesn't click like mine do, even if it's like my situation where like I decided to keep it because I have to make video about it, but if you can actually give it back and then have a new one, do it, because like you're paying a lot. You're paying $279 for those controllers. So like you should have it 100% functional.
Yeah, but like, right now, if you send it back and you get new ones, you get the same problem. It's like this Russian roulette. There is, as far as I heard, there is no controller out there right now that does not have this issue. So it doesn't matter. You can send it back. You get new ones, but you still get the same issue. Maybe you can still, go left or right, but it's always going to end up the same way. So I hope that Valve just communicates and says like, listen, because it does take some time to, do this in production and fix it, because I'm sure they're going to fix it. But I hope that everyone who bought one, that even runs, because here in Europe, it's like 30 days try. And then, so after 30 days, you can't really send it back anymore. If it doesn't work, then you have 2 years to still do that. And I think that needs to give everyone a free pass here and say, like, listen, if you have this issue, you can send them back. Because I want to send them back. I want to send them back right now because I'm not happy as a customer with what they delivered there.
The thing is, they haven't acknowledged it yet. They've just said that they're working as intended.
It's a big problem. It's a big problem. Yeah. So they just said that to kind of win time. I'm sure they want to be honest, but as a company to say that, you buy yourself time again to look into it.
Just for the chat, because some people don't know what's the issue. Pretty much the issue with the controllers, like on the thumbstick, some of the controllers don't click on you have the thumbstick up or down or left or right. So just click when it's in the neutral position, so centered. So like, for example, like when you want to run, you usually have your thumbstick up and you click. That's something you can't do with this issue that some of the controllers have.
Yeah, exactly.
So just to explain the issue.
Yeah, nicely explained. Yeah, exactly. And thanks for updating us about the current situation as well. But I think, the reason why, this deadline was pushed back from September to immediate, shipping now is because I think the interest in this headset has died down significantly since like the enthusiasts jumped on it like us, and we were all really excited about the new hardware, because at the moment the biggest issue with this headset is the lack of compelling software. There's no games, like Nathan mentioned earlier. He's playing a demo, a tech demo basically, and we've got Aperture Labs, but really other than that and the Vertigo 2 demo, there's nothing really to showcase the hardware to its fullest potential.
It has no flagship, and there is, like, for me, like, I make people excited for VR with any, if it's the Quest to Go, Rift, Vive, or Index, or Pimax, or XL, I can keep going. All right. But with the Valve Index, I really like. I love what the controllers are capable of. But there is nothing really that I can use to this headset. I really like, content-wise as well. Like, I want to pick it up to play something new, but there is nothing really to go for, and yeah, it hurts the headset. It hurts the headset, and those, you can say what about those 3 titles coming. Those are only 3 titles. So after those 3 titles, what are we gonna get next then?
I feel like the best games you can play right now with the Index controllers are the Oculus games with Revive. Like, it just works like so well.
Yeah, they're quite good. They're quite good. I'm not gonna lie, but you know what I mean. So there's no, and I totally understand people are also just reading it and just waiting to see what Valve is really going to do.
Yeah, but I think you make a great point, Tyriel, about the using Revive. But I think the majority of consumers won't even know what Revive is. I know we do because we work in this bubble. But I think the interest in this headset will pick up again as soon as they announce what first-party titles they're working on, and when Boneworks and Sky come out, I think the interest will ramp up again. But it just seems like it's been a bit of a disappointing launch because of the lack of software.
And I was expecting, like, so from how they were like creating everything, I was expecting actually No Man's Sky to be a launch title, and Boneworks to be a launch title, but that didn't happen. It was like a muted launch, and it's like, okay, it's for us, like they are like enthusiasts. And as always, like, we are beta testers of the technology, but they didn't have these big boost by titles.
Valve needs to invest into indie developers to make stuff for them. They just need to be like, hey, here's a roadmap, and every month we're going to release a new game. We're going to do parts. We're going to do native VR, everything that catches the eye. Because right now, those 3 games can be awesome, but in the end, you will finish them, and then you want something else, and you want more. And then there needs to be something there as well.
I think with this launch as well, it really showcases and highlights how difficult it must have been for both Sony and Oculus to pull off what they actually did, in the early days, because, we had pillars of like solid games releasing every sort of couple of months in the early days of the Rift. Of course, that slowed down now, but so it must have been very hard to pull that off. But hopefully, like you say, we'll get these games and the excitement for the Index will increase in the near future.
Exactly.
But while we're on the subject of Valve, let's talk about this, because this is kind of funny, because this is interesting. It's kind of funny that the Oculus Quest will be getting a Half-Life game before the Valve Index does. So this is kind of interesting news, because at 8 p.m. UTC on Monday, the 29th of July, a fellow from the community called Simon Brown, known as Dr. Beef on Twitter.
Dr. Beef.
Dr. Beef. he'll be releasing Lambda 1 VR on SideQuest. Now, we've mentioned SideQuest many times on the podcast, so go and do your research if you've never heard of SideQuest before. It basically makes it really easy for you to sideload content onto your Quest. But basically, this Lambda 1 VR is an engine port that allows you to play the original Half-Life game on your Quest. Now, there's a few things that you're going to need. You're going to need SideQuest for one. Create a developer account, which we've discussed previously on the show, and you'll also need to legally own a copy of the original Half-Life game on your PC, because this process requires you to sideload Lambda 1, then transfer the Half-Life game files from your PC to your Quest as well within the Lambda 1 directory. So that's basically how they're going to get it to work. But you can even play Half-Life multiplayer, and it has 6DoF controller support.
Multiplayer.
Yep.
There is the multiplayer?
Yep, apparently so. Apparently it works.
Wow, amazing.
And you can use the Quest touch controllers to actually swing the crowbar in-game. So it's like a proper engine mod.
I do need to correct you on, you can, if you want right now, play Half-Life on the Valve Index. You can play it on your Rift Vive. You can play it on any PC VR headset, because there is this mod that allows you to just play with full motion controls. It's like the old Half-Life. The very old school one, but you can if you want. Not multiplayer though. That's something that I can't give you here. But
but you can. It's worth noting as well that you can only play the original Half-Life. It's not the Half-Life Source engine update. You can't do that with the Quest.
It's not Half-Life.
So it is the original game.
Right?
It's the pixelated one.
It's the pixelated one. Also,
the blocky one, the Roblox version.
Yeah, it's also worth mentioning. There's a few bugs right now.
Tell us.
This has been reported by the creator, of course.
There's a lot of bugs in Half-Life. They have those face things that jump you.
The head crabs. But, he's a single developer porting this engine over, so, you've got to give him credit where it's due. But, apparently for the most part, it does work. You can check it out for free, of course, on Monday if you're
I told you, SideQuest is getting the awesome stuff now. Like, Half-Life is a very good one, and it will only grow from here. It's getting more and more interesting.
Yeah, but also be warned that it's probably going to be very intense. So if you're a newcomer to VR and you get motion sick very easily, this is one of the titles that really did me over back in the day. So
I mean, when I played it on the Vive with the mod that there's on the PC, it's like I the time, like after a long time that I got sick, but sick like crazy. I couldn't move for 2 hours, and I hope it's not going to be the same, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same for the Quest.
You know what does it is like the walking speed, because Half-Life, this character runs like, I don't know who, like Sonic.
Yeah.
And you do the same thing in VR, like that really gets you. Jumping and running like that, my days. Oh, Serious Sam. Oh.
Serious Sam too, something,
So, certainly, like Tyrio, I know you SideQuest quite a bit as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What sort of your favorite side-loaded app so far?
I don't know. It's not probably Virtual Desktop. With the new patch to actually stream Steam VR games, because it works very well. I like the Virtual Desktop. You can put it as always open on your PC, so you don't even have to start off. You just press on it and you start. So I feel like it's the thing that I use the most on SideQuest. That this is an amazing alternative store that everyone needs to install.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a big advocate of it as well. If you want to check out the Half-Life mod for the Quest, you can visit the creator's website, which is lambda1vr.com, and you can also support him there via PayPal if you enjoy the game. But like I said, you will need the original Half-Life game on your PC, legitimately owned, to play it.
Just don't get caught by the G-Man.
Exactly.
Gabe Newell.
So the next bit of news, this is an interesting news from Ubisoft this week, because they've kicked off an open beta for non-VR players to play Space Junkies on PC.
What would that mean?
Well, the open beta is running now. So you can take part for free, and it's running up until the 7th of August. You obviously need to have Uplay installed to try it out. But the multiplayer includes crossplay with VR players. So PC players can play with a keyboard and mouse or a gamepad. So it would be interesting to see how a VR player would stack up against a PC player, because I'm sure a mouse can move much faster than someone can actually physically move their body.
Hard to balance out. That's what I spoke about in a few episodes ago on Rec Room, where I played it on my monitor, and I owned everyone in like the paintball thing. It was way easier. Like you know why I think they brought this 2D mode is because they still don't have enough players, and they are trying to boost it up with this. And I think they came up with this a while ago, where maybe even when they first put it on sale and it was expensive and it didn't work, I think they had this as one of the plans. So I think this is one of their plan Bs that are rolling out. I hope they had enough time to optimize, because as Mike said, if it's not fair, it kills the game even more. It hurts the game more than it really helps the game.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than I can imagine going in as a VR player and getting just completely destroyed by PC players, and it feels like it's unfair. That would be really bad. Like you say, it would hurt the game even more. Definitely. But like you said, I think it feels like a bit of a desperate to recover the game, which is a shame, because I do think it's a really solid shooter. Yeah. It's a lot of fun to play. I think you're right. They launched it at a way too expensive price, which was $40 at launch. Now it's been reduced, of course. Like in the Humble Bundle, it was like £7, which was great, like $10. I think now back to normal price is $20. I still think it's a great price for the game. But yeah, it just seems that they have to resort to this to push the game forward.
It's the same story with Bethesda. I hope it doesn't make them believe that VR is not. But this was an expensive game for sure.
Yeah,
and it's a good one. It's very polished. It's very nice, but it did cost a lot of money for sure.
I think I'm a Space Junkie player, by the way. I play a lot of it because I really enjoy it. I play with friends, and like the problem is like there's not population there. There's not enough people to play with. I actually see like this porting for like flat, like a good thing, because like if we can have more people in the servers is better. And because I feel like because you are in a no gravity environment, probably will make it a little harder also for people with the mouse and keyboard. The thing in VR, you can turn 360, you can look up and down much easier, and you can do many more movements. Now, yes, the aiming probably is going to be a little worse in VR, but I don't know how much worse, because at the end of the day, it's like a real gun when you are in VR. Yeah. But yeah, the example that you gave with the Rec Room, that you were owning everybody, actually make me think about it. But you can solve it doing a little tick, do you want crossplay or not? Crossplay just VR, crossplay not VR as well. But I'm pretty confident in Ubisoft, because we saw Ubisoft keeping alive games that they were considered completely dead. If you say Rainbow Six, it was a failure, and then now is one of the biggest esport games.
That is true.
If they're doing the same, I see a lot of attachment to this game, much more than expected. When you were when I started to play, actually, we talked about it the last time I was on the podcast. I said it's exactly like the beta that I played 2 years before. Instead, right now there are so many new things, so many new modes. There's 4 versus 4. There's the one with the bow and arrow. They added so much stuff that they're actually making it interesting. And if they keep going in this way, and it seems like they're doing it, I see something become
because
big.
You say that you're a player. How big are the matches? How many persons are playing against how many persons in this?
It's 4 versus 4 with the last update, so 3 versus 3.
Would, in your opinion, for example, would it work that they would, for example, balance the team out in that way as well, instead of having 4 VR players against 4 non-VR players, that they always make sure that the teams are kind of balanced? And that, do you think that will work? For example, 2 on each side? 2
and 2. I don't know, because it depends also how much better you are if you are on PC with mouse and keyboard. Because if you are 4 times better, one person can kill just all the other team. So it really depends.
It's good to see that this patient here, and that they are still, because some companies would just be we throw the server offline. That's it. For example, Star Blood Arena closed yesterday or the day before. So, it does happen. And that one was also a triple, a VR shooter. It was very good, very polished. It was made by an indie, but it was even in the PlayStation Plus store, so you could just you got it had like the subscription, and still it didn't take off. Comparing it to Rainbow Six, I do get your point, because it does prove that Ubisoft is patient. But with Rainbow Six, the problem was it didn't have enough content. With Space Junkies, it had decent enough content at the start. They just made a huge mistake by putting the wrong price on it, and that can be something that like haunts you for a while, and they're trying to get rid of that now. But I feel like there's this distrust in the community where people feel like they don't want to get this game because it's too risky for them. They heard too many stories about it where it's like, yeah, and then the price is too expensive and this and that. So I feel like it's like people tell each other if they should buy a game or not, and I think it still haunts them until now. And I think this is one of the last things they can try. If the PC thing doesn't work, the pancake thing, I don't think what else does, because adding content is not what's going to keep
a PlayStation version. Just a flat PlayStation version.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably the plain deal,
It's not cross-platform, right? Or is it?
Yeah, it is.
It is.
So even with the PlayStation VR community in there right now, it's not...
There's nobody from I couldn't find anybody from PlayStation. Just find it once or twice, like a person. It was like, oh, you can move your hands. And it's like, oh yeah, I have the index. That's it.
But with do you think this game would have benefited if it was like a freemium game? Like gone like the Fortnite model.
That's what I said. That's what I said from the start, even before.
But I don't think
this game would not survive another way.
But I don't think that the VR market is big enough to get like just a profit out of that for making this game freemium. If they would have from the beginning did it with PC, then maybe yes. But
I don't know. Like Rec Room is also freemium in a way. Well, not completely, but it kind of is. Maybe like Mike. Maybe they will right now. Like after this, they will maybe try to make it freemium. I think it's one of the last things they could try. But
yeah, it would.
I wanted to succeed, but struggling for too long now, and I don't see this game making a comeback.
I agree. It is a shame, but it would be interesting. Like we'll never get them, of course, but it would be interesting to see the stats for like Echo Combat, for example, and to see a free game how many players they have regularly signing in to play it.
I mean, Echo Combat is $9.99 though, right?
Oh, is it? Sorry.
It's just Echo Arena is free.
Echo Arena, sorry.
Echo Combat is like a cost something,
I do think if this became an esport at the start, it could have survived in a way.
That was their goal all along, so maybe we'll see it as an esport at Oculus Connect. Who knows?
Yeah, but Oculus, then Oculus needs to invest into that. Like Echo is kind of their own game as well, so you can make an esport out of your own game. That's easy, but having a third party, that's a different story.
Yeah. So that is Space Junkie news. The PC will be joining the fray. So let us know if you end up playing it, and keep us updated next week. The next bit of good news for PSVR owners, as this week Sony London dropped some free DLC for Blood and Truth on the PlayStation VR. Now, we all highly rated Blood and Truth. It's one of my VR games of the year so far due to its over-the-top action, fun gameplay, and immersive story. This new update includes a new Game Plus mode, which allows you to replay the game with all the weapons and customization unlocks that you got in your first playthrough. So you can play through it again and have like the really OP weapons that you unlocked, which is kind of fun. And also any sort of like little targets, the hidden targets that you got in the levels, they remain. So you can go through and mop those up to unlock some other bits and pieces.
Dude, this game is why you should buy a PlayStation VR if you were interested. One shooters, of course, over the top action games.
Yeah, this and Firewall. If you're into shooters, that is what you get a PSVR for.
And there are bundles, right? So you can get this game with a PlayStation VR headset.
Yeah, and like we've said on previous episodes of the show, the PSVR is backwards compatible with the next gen console. So
it's a great game.
Yeah. But they've also added alongside the new Game Plus mode a challenge mode with online leaderboards, so you can sort of go in there and show off your best John Wick shooting skills with other people online. But apparently this is the first in a series of planned free DLC which will expand on the original game. So stay tuned for more information in the future. Yeah.
Sweet.
The final bit of quick news this week is if you enjoy watching TV and movie content in VR and you're an Amazon Prime customer in the UK or in the US, you'll be pleased to hear that there is now a free, dedicated Amazon Prime VR app for Oculus Go, Gear VR, and Oculus Quest. And this allows you to watch your favorite TV shows and movies from Amazon Prime in virtual reality.
Okay.
So a bit like the Netflix app, but for Amazon Prime. And this is great, I think, for watching content so you're not distracted by anyone around you. I've said this before on the show as well. Watching content in VR is kind of cool because you're isolated from everyone else. You know,
So you can watch some Top Gear.
exactly. Or, you know, I would highly recommend checking out the US version of the Office.
Yeah.
Ah.
Okay.
Yeah, I love the UK version. This is going to be controversial, but
I
actually
didn't
think
even
the
know
US
there was a UK version.
Yeah, the US version
really?
was really good.
Yeah, I
But
didn't know.
You should check out the UK version, but the US version I actually think is a little bit better.
My
And that's
mic is
because of the
biased.
lead character, of course.
I mean, there's Steve Carell in there.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like Ricky Gervais is amazing, and the original Office is perfect, but there's just not enough of it. Whereas, you know, you just want to binge watch something. Like the US Office is great, and you fall
we
in
have a
love
Dutch version as well.
with
by
it
the
so
way.
easily.
Absolutely.
You have a Dutch version?
Yeah.
A Dutch version? What?
That's amazing.
With Belgian actors? Yeah, it's true.
What are the sort of like what was it, Pam and what's his name?
It's different in that way, like, but they bought the rights from it to make a similar kind of series, and they all have those like, you know, like funny character traits that like they have in that it's called
Yeah.
The Island, you know, from like those box offices that everyone has like their own little island. So it's called
Island.
Island. Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, that is go on.
Going back to Prime Video anyway, I don't know in the UK, but here in the US, there's not much content. Like there are some series and I don't know, is there a lot of content in the UK for Prime Video?
So I think the biggest shows are Good Omen, I think is a new one. Preacher is kind of an interesting one, which is a spin-off from a comic, which I did really enjoy. But yeah, the US Office was like the main reason why we got Prime Video. It's like
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that is Amazon Prime, now available for free on Go, Gear VR, and Oculus Quest. So that is all the news this week. We had lots of news this week and only one topic, so that's why we kind of stretched it out a bit. But Nathan's going to give us the releases to look forward to next week. So
Yeah.
take it away, dude.
Yeah, thank you for all the juicy facts, news items right
You're
here.
welcome.
Time to go to the releases. I don't have that many though. It's not that crazy. We first of all have Wolfenstein Cyberpilot. It's available on PlayStation VR and also on PC. We didn't really talk about the PlayStation VR version. I do wonder what the differences are in that sense, because usually, you know, you can find a lot of differences there. But yeah, as we said, if you like Wolfenstein and you want to control a Panzerhund, a drone, and a Citadel, if you are a real big fan, I totally understand you're going to play this and you don't listen to anyone. But if you are just a casual VR gamer, spend your money elsewhere, I would say. Okay.
Yeah. It's also worth noting that you can play this on the Rift, even though it's not officially supported, because of course ZeniMax
It's still there.
and Oculus had a big
Yeah.
clash. They fell out without going into the details, but you can play it on Rift. It works just fine.
Yeah. So then we have Raccoon Lagoon. Mike already told us kind of what it's all about. It's for Rift and Quest. And I haven't tried it with Revive, but I'm sure that should also do the tricks. If you want to join along, then you should be able to. I pulled like the description from the Oculus store. This is what they tell you. Hello, island spirit. It's like with this, you know, this cloudy voice, right? I don't have like a voice filter on here, so I can't really completely do this. But a group of adorable sailors have been marooned on your shore. Let's help them build a home here. It's like, this is typical for Mike. Like, this is what Mike, you know, gets into. He reads, is like, yeah, this is, you know, happiness, peace, everything.
It kind of sounds like the Flying Dutchman reading it, though.
That's true. And just maybe they can help us repair the island's broken heart, explore the 8 beautiful and distinct climates of the island, and with fishing, cooking, farming, mining, painting, themed decorations, and many hours of story quests, you won't run out of things to do. No, you can also invite your friends. And if you wish, just make sure to watch out for the raccoons.
Yes, because they the raccoons actually steal from you in the game. So when you hear them when they're coming, and then they run towards you, and they'll steal a random item from your inventory. And if it's something very valuable, it's very annoying. And then you have to run after them with a pickaxe and hit them 3 times to knock them out and steal your item back again.
You see, it is kind of violent in some ways. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, that's a Raccoon Lagoon. I love the name, by the way. It's just, rolls up the tongue. Next up, we have Please Don't Touch Anything. This is a classic that you could previously play on your Go, as far as I know, right? Was it on the Go? I think so. And then also on PC, you could also play it. It was more of like as far as I know, like a point and click, but then they also upgraded it with actual hands. It's now available on the Quest. And they say on the store that Please Don't Touch Anything is a cryptic, brain-wrecking, button-pushing simulation. Covering for a colleague who is taking a bathroom break, you find yourself in front of a mysterious panel, which only component is a red button. Ooh. And since you've clearly been instructed to not touch anything, the only thing you want to do now is push that damn button. Push it and expect to be held liable for any unintended aftermath. And there will be many.
Did you do that last part?
It's a bit like the Stanley Parable in a way.
Yeah, apparently there's like multiple different endings to this game. Like there's so many different endings. There was like videos on YouTube showing all the different endings. If you want to go and check them out.
So instead of playing it, you just go to YouTube and you watch all the endings.
That's what everyone did with what was it, Duck Season? So yeah.
That is true. And then those are pretty much the releases. If there is in chat someone who says like, "Oh, Nate, you totally forgot about this one," then please help us out. But I do want to give another shout out to the Vertigo 2 demo because I really enjoyed it. It's super solid. They worked really hard on it. It's not coming out just yet, but you can get a taste of it. It's going to release in 2020. It's a mix of Half-Life and Portal in a way. It's super satisfying. Yeah. It has great visuals, gameplay that is so satisfying, and the audio, my days, orgasmic AF. It's available on the PC, on Steam, and you can play it with the Rift, with the Vive, with the Index, blah, 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 all the headsets pretty much. Although best way to play it is on the Index, or if you want to also with the touch, because Zim said that it was like amazing
with the Rift S. It's with the touch controllers, the interaction is almost 1-to-1. Like I've never had such a great touch experience in any other Oculus game than this one.
Amazing.
Yeah, so there you have it. Those are kind of like the releases. It's kind of a dry season. I feel like I've said this before, but I see Tariel is going to surprise us with something super epic.
It's actually super epic. It's not the game, but there was a release this week, and there's a mixed reality OpenXR preview. So like right now, from like this week, Windows Mixed Reality, that is not that, is going to start to support OpenXR. And that it's actually a big thing because it's going to be much easier to have all the games there too now. I feel like it's worth a mention because it's a big step because Windows Mixed Reality is a kind of a closed ecosystem, is the Oculus ecosystem, and now with the OpenXR support, everything gets a little better, and I feel like it's worth a mention.
Okay. Yeah, we reported recently that there was kind of a bit of a fire sale going on almost with Windows MR. Do you kind of feel like there might be a refresh coming soon, or do you not feel that?
I don't think a refresh is gonna come anytime soon because I don't see it in the period things, but I see that they're still on the software. With the last update in Windows, there are so many new features. You can actually you don't even need programs like OSVR where to put stuff inside, to have a window, but you can actually open everything from your PC and put it also inside the Steam VR game, also holograms, you can put holograms in your games. They're still updating. Microsoft, for me, has a big problem is like they never say anything, and like you have to find out by yourself every time. So like they're not supporting in that way, but they're actually working on the background, and that's good.
And it's also worth noting that you got the reverb, right?
Yeah, I got the reverb. It's like actually, let me take it. It's on top of the Pimaxes right now, and here you go. This is the reverb. Yeah.
And how are you finding it? Are you using it for specific applications, or?
I couldn't use it that much yet because like I went in Mexico in vacation, but like the clarity is like insane. The problem is like it's just in the real like dead center, and out of it is like it kind of lose all the appeal. Like if right now if I have to grab like the reverb or the index, I still grab the index even if it's lower resolution. But I was impressed when like you open, you all guys will do it. Like when you open Steam VR, and you maybe click on the desktop thing, but it's all blurry because like the resolution is not high enough. With the reverb, it's fine. You actually read everything like without resizing. And I was like, what the heck? I can read now. And so that was a game, but then like around there's a lot of like the pupil swim, so like the kind of the image shift a little, and that's not good at all because like also for motion sickness there's chromatic aberration and it's there, and the clarity is not the same on the edges of the lenses. It's hard to recommend for it, but I understand that like it was a business oriented. It's a business oriented headset, so like if you really need to look at that thing there, it's the perfect one for you, I guess.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for your little insight into it, because none of us, I think I tried it briefly, but none of us actually have one. So it's interesting to hear your thoughts.
Nate has one, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but I haven't really played around with it. I have too many
out of the box.
It is out of the box. That's for sure. Yeah.
Okay. So let's finish up then and talk about our main topic this week. And this is about news that The Void is expanding its series of location-based VR locations across the US, but also in other parts of the world too. Now, The Void, if you're not familiar with it, it's a location-based virtual reality experience where up to 4 people are basically suited up with VR headsets and like backpacks with PCs in there, and you go through like a series of rooms together in virtual reality, which are kind of mapped out in the real world. So, what you see in VR is kind of mapped 1-to-1 in the real world. So if there's a wall there, there's a wall there in real life. So if you touch it, kind of, it feels realistic. They use some really clever techniques with The Void, a bit like what we mentioned on last week's show, where we talked about that side quest game T for God, using non-Euclidean spaces. So basically that means in VR you feel like you're traveling like a fair distance, whereas in reality you're going round in circles or figures of 8, so it gives that illusion of moving around, but you're not actually moving far at all. In The Void, they also use some really clever techniques with wind, heat, rumble, tactile buttons, physical weapons as well. And they really, help connect you to the experience that you're trying. And there's a few decent experiences that they run through these Void locations. And that is, one of them is Star Wars, Secrets of the Empire, which is the only one that I've tried. And I think, have we all tried it? I think so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I thought it was amazing, like looking across and seeing your friend decked out as a stormtrooper and then giving them a high five and knowing exactly where their hands are. And,
the best part is still how they work with like elevators and heat and stuff like that. That really because you can really feel heat in the game. You can feel it in there as well. That was pretty awesome.
For me, the best stuff was grabbing the blasters, because you actually grab real blasters. It's like, I was like, what the heck? I have a blaster in my hand.
Yeah. So let's just quickly talk about that then, because like, not to give too much away, but in the Star Wars one, you go to the planet of Mustafar, which is featured in the Star Wars Episode 1 on the Quest and Rift game. Vader's basically sort of home planet. It's all fiery and lava based. but you fly there together undercover as stormtroopers, and when the doors open, you feel that immediate heat from the lava, which is amazing. And like you say, when you're infiltrating the base, there is these like stormtrooper blasters on the wall, and you basically pick them up off the wall and start shooting your way out, which is a great experience.
Or you just grab two and you can do that as well. It depends on how many people you are.
You could grab like dual wield.
You can do that.
So yeah, Star Wars is like a standout experience, but they also have Wreck-It Ralph, Ralph Breaks VR, Ghostbusters, and one called Nicodemus.
Oh god,
which is a horror-based experience. Did you try any of the different ones when you went to the Void recently, Nathie? Did you go again?
I tried Wreck-It Ralph. They also offered me to try Nicodemus, but you know me, right? I said like, well, thank you, but no, thank you.
You know what I would really like to see still from the Void is a Jurassic Park one. I think
for sure.
Really nice. Jurassic
That
Park.
would be amazing.
I tried the one at Dave and Buster, but that was pretty bad.
Oh,
okay.
Well, let's say you will be surprised very soon. That's all I'm gonna say. But anyways, I played Wreck-It Ralph, and you know, as you said, like it's weird to stand on a platform on an elevator and then move somewhere, right? Well, in the Wreck-It Ralph one, they go to the next level because you play with a friend, and then after a while you get separated, but you're still standing next to each other. But then you're like waving at the other person, and they're like, "Hey, bye!" And then you see this person just moving away, and it feels like they really do, but in the end they don't because they're still standing next to you, right? But they just play with your mind in that sense. But Wreck-It Ralph is like, I can tell you, like, if you watch the movie, you go into the internet, the city, right, with like Google and Facebook and everyone. It's so beautiful. It's so epic to just be in this what is like monorail and look around. There's so much to see. It's seriously, it's amazing. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, and they add some more competitive stuff to it because in Star Wars it's like you finish things together. But in Wreck-It Ralph, you can really get your own score and get points that way. So yeah, no, it's awesome. I played so many Void. It's crazy because when I was in Los Angeles for E3, they invited me over to go to their location at Santa Monica. They have like the locations they do have are at the best places, by the way. They always have the best places. So I tried it there, the Star Wars one again. I also tried Wreck-It Ralph, didn't do the Nicodemus one. And then a few weeks later, I went to Disney, right? And in downtown Disney, it's like the shopping mall of Disney, just before the park, they also had a Void. So again, I did the same stuff. So it's amazing to, like, it never gets old. And the funny part was the last few times I did it was only with my brother. So there is no one that bothers you in any way. So we could just grab two pistols and start shooting like that. It's like
I think it's like the closest thing to like a holodeck that we have at the moment with like real life interaction.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty
true.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love for you to experience Nicodemus.
Okay, you know what? The next time I get the opportunity, and I'm afraid it will be very soon, I will do it. Okay, I will do it, and then I tell you in the podcast how it was. But this owner of the Void, he said like he tried a few times, and every time he still gets scared. That's how scary it is. My days.
And because like me and David, Nathie's brother, we tried a horror-based VR thing. And
I remember that video.
Yeah, please tell.
It was like a hospital one, and it was at the same arcade as Mario Kart VR. And we were sitting in these like wheelchairs, but literally like a bit like Nathie said, you like in Wreck-It Ralph, you branch off on different paths, and like he would scream randomly, and that would make me jump. And then I would scream and it would make him jump. And by the end of it, we were both a wreck. Like we were screaming so much. It was crazy. And we actually died in the game as well. We didn't actually finish it.
Nice one. So someone in the chat is asking, is this available in the Netherlands or, anywhere else in Europe? As far as I know, they did have pop-ups. They don't do them right now. But as far as I know, it's only US.
So this is it. Like they currently have 9 locations based across the US. They have 3 in Canada, 1 in Malaysia, and 1 in Dubai. They want to expand that to have 25 locations in total. And the further locations they have planned are in Paris, London, Amsterdam, Chicago, Copenhagen, Oberhausen, San Jose, Stockholm, and Vienna.
Oberhausen, where's that?
Fudo approves.
Yeah, so there's going to be plenty across Europe as well, which is great because we don't have any in Europe right now. They did
So
have
no pop-ups, like real, they stay as long as they do well, of course.
Exactly, yeah, because they did have a pop-up in London with a Star Wars one, but it was only around for a few months. But yeah, these are going to be proper ones, which is great that they're expanding. And hopefully, they teased, we mentioned this on a previous episode of the show as well, The Void teased about an upcoming collaboration with Marvel to bring a Marvel experience to The Void as well. And I think we all kind of guessed that it would be an Avengers one. It kind of makes sense, being Thor or Iron Man and Captain America. That would be just so freaking cool.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
So hopefully, all out of these new locations, we'll hear more about this new experience as well. But I think, it's great that it's expanding because it's clear that, it's getting investment. People are interested in this. And the thing is, these locations are generally in like shopping malls or like, downtown Disney or places like that, because it's like an event. It's got the same kind of thrill-seeking experience as going to a theme park, but you can access it locally with your family, which is really great. And I'm sure in the future this will become big business for VR.
And I feel like Disney is like very, very well invested with them, because I mean, Wreck-It Ralph is Disney, Star Wars. Yeah, nowadays I know it sounds weird, but it's Disney. Yeah. and then we have Ghostbusters is Universal Studios, as far as I know, and was also Disney, right? That all sounds also very strange, but true.
Yeah.
Everything is Disney. If you don't know, it's Disney.
Exactly. But I think just generally, like The Void, like if you try it as your first ever VR experience,
oh dude,
it's going to blow your mind, but it's also gives you a great opportunity to try VR and see really what it has to offer, right?
Yeah, and even if you tried VR for many years, it still blows your mind. Like when I tried The Void, I already went into VR so many times before, but that was totally different.
Yeah, like they play so much also with the environment, the fact that you can touch things that usually there's something that at home you don't have, like the fact like also like all the characters, like the thing that you see are actually also there because like they build everything around you. It's like that creates so much immersion. And I love the fact that they're bringing more, because also not so long ago there was they were closing the IMAX one. So like it's great that instead The Void found the way to be profitable and to make money out of it.
And you also need to give props to them how they introduce VR to you outside of their building. Like they have these TV screens with all these cool things on there of what you can be and what is going to happen when you enter, right? And then also when you go through the doors, it's like they have this desk, they have merchandise. It's all very futuristic, but it's inviting. It makes you curious. I think above every building it says go beyond reality, and I think that does catches the eye in many ways. And I can tell you, when I was in my hotel room at Disney, they were even advertising it on the TVs there. They said like, hey, they were like, hey, are you a family and you want to be a stormtrooper? Then come to The Void. So they even have it, with the guests that stay at the Disneyland Resort. They have it, it's an all-round thing. I think they even had it as commercials on TV for a while.
Do they have it in the Disney park, like the one for the Star Wars park? Do they have the Void?
No. It's like downtown Disney. So it's like the district. It's outside. Everyone can enter, but it's not inside the park itself. But I do think there is a future for, dark rides with VR or things like that, for sure.
Yeah, it's weird that they didn't put it inside the new park, because there's the experience also with the Millennium Falcon that is not VR, but like you get inside, you have all these rooms.
And the funny part with Millennium Falcon is that Industrial Light and Magic, who also made the Trials on Tatooine experience, made that ride. They made the simulation. So
really?
Let's say that simulation would be in VR as well. Amazing.
That would be amazing, like to have it in front of you like a walkie instead of like your mom,
True. But yeah, I think it's great that this is spreading, like I say, because it makes it VR more accessible. It opens up people's eyes to trying out VR for the first time, because I think in Europe and in the UK we have a big accessibility problem in that VR is this amazing tech and people are kind of intrigued by it, but they don't have anywhere to try it out. Like even in the stores, you can't try it. Whereas I spoke to Tyrell before the show, and he was saying that in like the US, like places like Best Buy and the Microsoft Store, they have demo stations where you can actually try it, right?
Yeah, only PlayStation VR here in Europe and also the UK, I think, have like a let's say a fairly big presence.
Yeah.
But PC VR or standalone is nowhere to really be seen. Like in stores, you can't just, even let's say next to Try, you can't even buy one in a media store. It's like something you do online, at least here in the Netherlands. The only demo stations I have seen a lot were PlayStation VR.
Yeah. I think that's such a shame, because if I went into my local game store and I saw someone with a headset on, I would be immediately intrigued. Like if I saw someone playing Beat Saber with a Quest, for example, I'd be like, holy crap, like what is this person doing? They look like they're having so much fun. I feel like I need to try that myself. And then before you know, you bought a headset.
Yeah,
True.
But I think a lot of that has to do with hygiene as well. That a lot of people are a little bit more like, I mean, you see someone playing, especially now in this kind of weather. I mean, I'm not very keen on like taking someone else's headset and putting it on my face, even though it looks very cool. I might check it out at a friend's house later on, or like, I still don't really see the, like, as long as they haven't fixed that kind of problem, that it like is way less cumbersome and like you can like it's much easily to be shared. I think it's going to be hard to see that. And also just the technical difficulty of setting something like that up is, I mean, I recently, not that long ago, I went to a virtual reality arcade here in Belgium as well, where they had a new gaming experience, and just one thing went wrong, and it took them almost 2.5 hours to get everything back up and running. And that's the thing with these kind of virtual reality. I mean, we all know it. It's a lot of cables, there's a lot of setup. You need to make sure that especially because they work with different kind of scenes as well, so that the audience could see it as well. So they had an OBS scene running with like different kind of cameras, so complex kind of setups, and it's just more complex at the moment than regular gaming is. So if you make a boot station, people kind of expect it to look good as well. So I think that's
I think with the Void, with so many expertise they have, I think with their location-based places in Europe, for example, I think they will. And of course, the Void is not arcade. That's a total different business. Most arcades in Europe are not extremely professional in any way. People heard about this idea, want to make some money, and just go for it. I haven't seen many arcades that are really, top notch. The one in Dubai is great, for example. The one I tried in Nanchang was also super nice. But here in Europe, most arcades are more, someone came up with that idea and that's it. But the Void, I think it will be able to sell VR here in Europe and other places. And they also have the advertise. They have the expertise to advertise it properly. Mm-hmm. It's just that I feel like here in my country, there is still not this culture of like, hey, let's do something fun. And instead of going to a theme park, we go to a VR arcade together, or we go to the Void together. Well, in the US, it's like, hey, let's go to Dave and Buster's together. Let's try this VR experience together. But in the Netherlands, it's not on the list of things to do, if you know what I mean. And hopefully it will.
I think also it's for money, like because like there's a different balance in money, and when something costs like $30 in the US, where you like the taxes are higher because all the expenses are related to it, it's like $30 here, not like €30 in Europe. So like I don't see myself like paying like €50 for a 15 minutes experience because I would say what the heck,
Yeah,
it's like I pay double. I buy a Lenovo Explorer, like that's the point.
True, that's true. Like of course, like every area has its own. Like probably people buy more headsets here than really going to an arcade to try it.
In a way, it makes sense that the money in a virtual reality arcade is more expensive because of the room that is required. I mean, the amount of money that you make per square meters is a lot less than it is when you can put like just PC next to a gaming station or whatever. So I think that is also something that you need to take into account for a virtual reality arcade, that the amount of space that is required to play in is definitely like a couple of square meters.
What do you think about the Quest business version that is going to arrive later this year? Do you think it's going to fix like a part of this problem with the arcade, like being a little easier to set up?
I would love it if they could replicate what we tried at OC5 last year, you know, with the Dead and Buried experience, because playing Dead and Buried on the Quest, like when you play it now, it just sucks in comparison to the experience back then.
True.
So like, I can't even play that game and think of it in the same way anymore.
No.
So I would love for that to kickstart the resurgence of a lot of people investing in VR arcades and having this sort of warehouse-based VR experience. I would definitely go there regularly because I thought it was such a great experience. It's basically like the feeling of like paintball, but in VR. It was really that good. So I would love them to be able to do that for sure. Hopefully.
But why did they then show it off in the first place if they weren't, you know? I wonder why they...
I think it was a tech demo.
Well.
Yeah.
It was a tech demo.
It was also a way to kind of hype things up because a lot of consumers thought that this was going to be a feature.
Yeah, I almost forget about it. You know, I almost forget that even happened. It was such a long time ago. But I hope they bring something back like that, along with the Void as well, because they had the Void obviously at OC5. So hopefully we'll see a new demo, a location-based VR demo from Oculus with the Quest again, and another Void experience.
I do think that an experience like what they did with Dead and Buried is showing off the potential of virtuality, not only in like, you know, like your gaming living room, but just like across like arcades and like, you know, it's a different style of gaming. It's completely new. And I think that is exciting in itself. And it's probably a good way of securing funding and securing like new kind of deals.
Yeah. So hopefully, we see more of that at OC6 in just a few months now. Hopefully we get to spend some more time together as well in real. That'd be awesome. So that is all we've got for you today. If you've got any questions for us, now is a great time to put your questions in the chat and we can answer a few questions before we wrap the show up. But just a reminder, this is a weekly VR and MR Talk show, live streamed every Saturday on YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitch. The show is also now available in big screen TV as a regular show. You'll only see the channel, the F Reality channel, go live when we're live, so it's not there all the time. Although if the show is popular in big screen TV, that may change in the future. But if you watch this in big screen and you watched it with other people, we'd love to see your pictures of you, with your little hangout. That would be really awesome. You can tune into the show live at 7 p.m. in Europe, 6 p.m. in the UK, and 12 midday in Central US. Or you can check out the audio version, which is on iTunes, SoundCloud, Anchor, and now is available on Spotify.
Ooh, nice. And leave a like.
Leave a like and subscribe to the YouTube channel for sure.
So someone in the chat is asking if the Mario Kart arcade experience is worth the price. I don't know how much you pay to ride as Mario or Yoshi or...
Yeah, so I think it's about £10 and it's literally 5 minutes, but it's totally worth it. Like, it is so much fun.
I knew that you were going to say that.
It's that much fun that I went and bought a Vive tracker and I've got a full wheel set up.
Oh yeah,
ready to play this touring
car. How much did that 5-minute experience actually cost you in total?
Yeah, so that 5-minute experience has cost me a crap ton, a lot more money because I want that experience at home to replicate it. That's how good it is.
I think they recently opened a new location in Irvine at the K7. So if you want to try it there, then be my guest. I tried it there. They were going to have a big opening party that I missed in the end. So I arrived so late that there was no one there, but it was open and there was no one riding it. So you know how many times I tried it, like 6, 7 times. I was like, again. No, it was like, I had so much fun. It didn't get old. It's like, you feel the wind and you like fly around and you have all these piranha plants trying to eat you and stuff. Now it's like what you want in VR. It's like, please, I want Mario Kart. I want more. You get hungry for more. That's what happens.
I do know though that some people that I was playing with, the few times I've played it, like especially newcomers, they found it quite intense because of the movement.
Yeah.
But it is an amazing experience. Definitely worthwhile. If you're near one, go and check it out. For sure.
Then we have someone asking, any Cosmos news? I cannot find anything.
No, it's been super weird. The marketing of this
anymore.
The marketing of this headset has been so strange.
All I know is that developers do have one.
Yes.
They did receive Cosmos headsets, but the marketing of the Vive Cosmos fell completely flat. It's like they kind of started things off with this spinning headset, and then the week after they did some stuff on social media with some specs, and then it's kind of over.
We have Flipper side.
They do such a bad job. It's a shame once again because it could be a very good headset.
Flipper side in the chat said, it's just a turntable that is still broken. Sad face.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, it's like, and then suddenly it comes out, and then everyone's like, "Oh, okay." So
Weird.
Yeah, I do think we'll see it available to consumers by the end of the year. But I do agree that they kind of started ramping things up, and now they've just stopped, and it's killed the hype a bit.
they didn't stop. They just don't really know what they are doing, I feel like. And we saw this one tweet from Shen, who works at HTC, went to Marcus Brownlee, and he didn't tell why, but we all know that he got to try the Vive Cosmos. So they seem to go to some big YouTubers maybe to kind of get the hype going. But I'm like, you know, in the end, people also need to buy it. So if you're smart, you're kind of upfront with your information, and if you do marketing, then at least spread it out over the weeks and don't just stop.
Yeah,
because that kills your whole vibe. It just does.
And I think as well, like, we don't really know what this headset is yet. No. You know, we know that it's a VR headset and it's aimed at gamers, but we don't know about this kind of rumor of being a hybrid headset. Where
if it is a hybrid, then advertise it that way, because that's why people are so interested in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's its unique selling point.
I think we're just gonna see it like, it's like, oh, next week it's gonna launch, and then suddenly it's like the same story with all these other headsets they have been, making so far. But yeah, please tell us more in a way we all understand.
Yeah, as soon as we get more information, of course, we'll share it with you. Yeah,
for sure. So another question is big screen streaming from Quest yet?
So because of big screen TV, you've got access to all the channels, so you can stream those channels to your Quest. It's just that you can't stream any content from your Quest because you don't have any content to share. So you can only share content from your PC. But of course you can join rooms and watch this show in big screen TV on your Quest and still have a great time. Also, they pushed an update because there was a problem with people echoing through their microphones last week. They pushed an update this week that just is a push to talk button, so you don't have that problem anymore. So if you experienced that in big screen TV last week, it's been fixed.
Okay. Sure. Okay, cool. And one last one that I'm going to kind of transform into a different question. Someone is asking what our favorite VR experience is right now, or game. But let's say, what is the best one you all have played this year so far? I think Mike said Blood and Truth,
Blood
right?
and Truth, yeah.
For me, it's Vertigo 2 for sure, yeah. And then
I was about to say the same, Vertigo 2, yeah.
Okay. And
I really need to think about it. I can't give you an answer right now because I don't remember anything. I that's the problem. I don't remember anything epic that I really will remember, you know?
Yeah. I think Blood and Truth, followed closely behind Blood and Truth was Vader Immortal. I thought that was a really great
That would be my
experience.
number 2 still, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably now that you say it, Vader Immortal. Because actually I'm a big Star Wars fan, but that was very cool, but I need more. I need a second episode. I need more.
Hopefully.
I see in the chat people asking about Neuralink. Did you see it?